We're gonna skate today. Why? Because skating feels so good. So roller derby, if you don't already know, used to be a show. And so the hits and the falls were just a show, and there weren't real, true, genuine, hard-hitting hits like today. Today, the sport is growing, and the hits are hard and intentional, and there are real injuries in the sport. So today I'm going to talk about being a good hitter versus a bad hitter, or taking a hit good, or being a good skater versus a bad skater. I think we know what a good hit would be when we would say, man, that was a good hit, versus like, oh, she missed that hit, and or eating a good cake versus a bad cake, or something that we would describe as good. So good is just making moral, right choices. But often we look at someone who is good, or we say they're a good person, we tend to see that as weak, or unintentional, or not very powerful. But the opposite is true. And so when I first started derby, and and of course learned the basics, and this skill today that we're talking about is a basic skill in derby. So in order to take or give a hit, you've got to have that nice derby stance, and you've got to be grounded to be able to have that stability to put power through your hit. And so we talked about what that skill is, and the fruit of the Spirit is love. And if you don't have love, you're really not going to be able to practice goodness. And so like derby, if you don't have that stance, you're really not going to be able to practice hitting and receiving hits. So in my first home team bout of the season, and our coach, he really worked with us on a hit that we practiced over and over and over again. And I was able to perform it, execute it perfectly at our first home team bout. In fact, why don't you go ahead and watch a few seconds of that hit as a good demonstration.
Federal by Whiskey Shooter. Whiskey gets it. Oh, she got around the outside. Pam'R time.
So that was so exciting for me to experience and execute a really good solid hit that took that player out. But I have performed a lot of bad hits as well, and I've been taken down because I wasn't ready to take a hit. But my point is that a good hit, ooh, there's a bee. A good hit is what we're going to talk about in the fruit of the Spirit today, and that is found in Galatians 5:22, where the fruit of the Spirit is and goodness is listed. And that's what we're going to talk about as our last basic skill of the fruits of the Spirit. And that is goodness in your life, and it's going to connect to the 4 principles that I covered just a few days ago. God's word is good for teaching and rebuking, correcting, and training, so that you may be equipped for every good work. There is that word. And so how are you going to practice goodness? Well, I mentioned before, you've had a good cake and you've had a bad cake. So a bad cake is you missed some ingredients that you forgot to put in the butter, or you took it out too soon, or you took it out too late, so your timing was off. And that's exactly how it is with hitting. There is hitting in derby, and you can have a good solid hit, and it's timing, execution, and where your power is coming from. And you can have a bad hit. You can apply that now to a lot of things in life, and parenting, good parenting versus bad parenting, and good employee versus a bad employee, and good choices versus bad choices. There is power, there is being intentional, there is strength, there is strategy, there's thinking, there's practice behind good parenting, being a good employee, and making good choices. And that brings about celebration. It brings about good things and respect. And you think about, as a good parent, what that brings about versus a bad parent, and how it's a domino effect. You leave a mark, and I want to leave a mark with a good hit if I meet you on the track, and I want to leave a mark with my life, and if your paths cross with mine in life, and I want you to be practicing the same thing. Just putting goodness into your life. That is one of the basic skills to give you power in your salvation through Jesus Christ, is that goodness. And so what do you say to God? Ask Him to help you identify how you can respond to the pain and the hurt and all the bad things with good, and what that looks like in the things of your everyday life. And you'll discover that it brings about power and strength in your life by practicing goodness. All right. Thanks for skating with me today. See you later.